Well, welcome everybody to Workshop Wednesday. My name is Kathy Wellick, and I'm going to be doing the presentation today. We're going to be talking today about reports you should be using Chapter 4. So we've had a lot of reports that we've gone over this past year in 3 different segments before. And so now we're going to dig into a couple of them that are maybe not ones that you use all the time, but they're very important to your business model. And so we want to introduce those to you. Before we begin, however, we just want to remind you that you are being recorded. So the recording of this webinar will be sent out to you after it's rendered in the next day or two. Anna does a fantastic job of sending that out, so you can rewatch it as needed. And it will also go onto our YouTube channel. So just remember that as well. The webinars are every third Wednesday of the month at 2 p.m. Eastern. We really would appreciate your feedback and so forth with the QR codes to let us know what we can do better and what we can do next time. And then also, your participation is really important. So we do want you to ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat and so forth. And when you do so, please go ahead and let me know who you are and where you're from, because it doesn't automatically tell me that on the chat when you're leaving a message. So to ask questions, you want to go ahead and click on the Show Conversation button. And then again, type your questions, and please tell me your first name and the name of your organization. So that just helps me out a lot to know who I'm talking to, and that might help me be able to answer the question as well. So today's agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about Command 2024. Then we're going to talk about the power of feedback and the feedback report. Then we're going to talk about the FleetCommander Billing Report. Then we're going to talk about inspections and prep, which not a lot of people necessarily use, but it can be a very helpful tool for you to use to be able to get organized and have some accountability in the cleanup department of your shop. And then we're going to do a quick recap and go through, the resources that Agile Fleet does offer you. So first of all, Command 2024, we know lots of you are coming, and there are only a couple seats left. So if you haven't signed up, but you are in the North Carolina area, I highly encourage you to scan this QR code right now and register now. So with that, the Command 2024 conference is going to be held in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, October 1st through October 3rd. So you'll have lots of different attendees making presentations. You'll have a lot of Agile staff making presentations. And it's just a great way to network with your peers and to have good discussions with your peers about how they use the Agile FleetCommander product. So really looking forward to those of you who are signed up and who are already coming. And those of you who are not, we will miss you. But if you do still have the opportunity that you can come, just let us know. And if for any reason you have any issues with like the hotel link or anything, since it's so close to the event, just please let us know and we'll help you through that. So again, feel free to scan that or go to our website, agilefleet.com, and find out more about the Command 2024. So today we're going to talk about the power of feedback and how you can get feedback in the Agile system. So feedback is one of the most powerful influences of learning and achievement. But it can also have an impact that's either positive or negative, right? So John Hattie and Helen Timperley wrote their thesis on the power of feedback. And it really is so important to have feedback, because not only is it nice to know what things you're doing right, but you really want to know what you can improve upon, because you want your clients to come back. You want them to be renting your vehicles. You don't want them using personal vehicles. So you want to make sure your customers are repeat customers. So how do we do that? How do we get the knowledge of what they're thinking? And how do we turn that information into actionable data that we can use? So that's what we're going to talk about today is how to go about getting that feedback. What does that feedback mean? How many of you are asking for feedback? When you get feedback, how are you using that feedback and so forth? So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. So requesting feedback. So there's a feedback email in the FleetCommander system. So we're going to talk about how we're going to send that, how you can customize that a bit, and how you can customize the feedback form a little bit with some instruction text and ideas for soliciting or boosting that participation amongst your clients. So to request feedback, that function is in the administrative set of authorizations inside the FleetCommander system. So the administrator can send out the feedback by going to Tools, Send Email, and Get Feedback. Once you do that, you're going to get a pop-up which asks for a couple questions. These questions are very simple, and they are going to ask you for the date range that you're looking for. So what range do you want feedback? Best practice would be to get monthly feedback, but I do know some fleets that only ask for it once a year. Some fleets ask for it every trip. Some fleets ask for it quarterly. I know in the fleet I asked for it monthly, and I actually had to report to my superior as well about what our scores were and had to keep them above a certain threshold as part of my goals. So you're going to set the goal date, the send between date to the dates that you're looking for. So if you are going to do it monthly, I would suggest then the first 5 days of the month, somewhere in those first 5 days of the month, you send out for the month before. Then you can drill down to a specific site if you want, or you can do all sites. And then you can do the usage type if you want. I always kept it on all usage types because I wanted to know all my customers' feedback. And then you can also choose if the requester type. So are you looking for requesters of the system? Are you looking for drivers of this system? And quite often, drivers and requesters might be the same person. So if that's the case, they will still only get the email once. So it is safe to go ahead and run send to requester and send to driver. So you would go ahead and choose your options, and then you would click Generate Email List. At that point, you're going to get a page that has the listing of names. And as you can see on the right-hand column of this, there are some that say both, some that say requester, and some that say just driver. So again, that is the fact that those people will not get 2 emails if they're both a requester and driver. They'll only get 1. So the system's going to recognize that and not send them dual emails. So by default, all the users are going to be selected here. Every one of them is going to have a check mark, but you can unselect if there's anybody that you don't want to send to. And then when you're satisfied with the list of your users that you want to send to, you will go ahead and click the Send Email button in the upper right-hand corner. Once you do that, the system is going to go ahead and return how many emails it sent. So it is just a matter of seconds, and it can send out hundreds of emails if need be. So in this example, we just sent 1 of 1. So we only had sent it to the 1 person, but it would instantly just give you a list saying, 300 or 1400, and it'll immediately tell you what it did. So an email then is sent to the drivers or requesters from that list, and users will click on the hyperlink in the email, and that will direct them to the feedback page. Now, you can also customize the feedback page, and this was on some previous Workshop Wednesdays, more in depth as to how to do that. But you can go into Enterprise Settings, and then Layout, and then look for Get Feedback Email Text. This is where you can go ahead and change the verbiage of that text for the email that's going to go out. Also, on the feedback form, you can customize some text. So to do that, you would again go Enterprise Settings, Layout, but you would click on the feedback form instructional text. And whatever you enter here in the box will show up here in the customized message area. Now, several people have requested, and it is under consideration, but it has not been changed yet, to be able to customize the questions that are asked. At this time, it is a set of questions and is not customizable for the actual questions, but that is a future enhancement that we are considering. So on some ideas for how to boost the participation, one way you could do it is on the welcome page. So you could go ahead and highlight and talk about your motor pool and how your opinion matters and so forth, and just let people know that it would be very helpful if you could go ahead and give feedback. And then you can also direct them to the feedback link in the bottom right corner of your homepage. That is another place where they can get to the feedback survey. Requesting feedback, you can also look to add a link in your information menu. So underneath where you have like instructions, documents, and so forth, you can also add a box that says, give us your feedback. So you can reach out to FC support for more information or questions after we're done with how to do it today, or reach out to client success as well, and we will help get you that information if you have further questions after the presentation. So another place you can do it is you can also put it someplace on your homepage if you want. So you can place a call to action on your homepage. And you can also place a call to action on your footer. So your opinion matters. Please give us your feedback. So lots of different places that you can add it. You can also add a link on the kiosk when they return the vehicles. So now we have sent out the feedback survey. Our clients have answered it, and now we need to analyze it. So how do we analyze that feedback? So with that, you're going to look at the customer satisfaction gauge. So it's the dashboard graphic in the bottom right-hand corner of your home page. And when you click on that, it will ask you for a feedback report. You'll put in the dates that you want, and then you'll enter either HTML or Excel and generate report. When that report is generated, it's going to give you the different feedback that has been provided by customers, and it's going to give you the individual scores, and then it's going to give you the average scores. And so there's a whole recap of each one. So it tells you time, date, and so forth. Then below here is additional feedback. So the reason this is so important is because this is the lifeline of your fleet. So if people like your services, they like what you do, they like your vehicles, you're giving them good service, most likely they're going to come back. But if they have a bad experience, they're probably not coming back, and they're probably going to tell other people. And you don't want that business to go out the back door. So they can leave comments. So for example, the comments here, it may be useful to have little cards like the old paper ones that people can take to remind to write down the mileage and the return space number so they have it recorded when they need to enter it in the computer upon return. Great idea. We were thinking people could just take a picture with their phone. Some people don't have their phones and so forth. So with that comment, we made a little business cards that just had, please remember to log your mileage and your parking spot number. Next one, department does a wonderful job. Great. You can give your team kudos in a staff meeting. You can give them a treat. You can give them, an extra 15 minutes lunch or something if something good has happened or been reported. This one says, I'm sorry I don't remember the name of the person that answered the phone because she was wonderful. I had a sticky situation with the weather and didn't end up needing the vehicle. They could not have been nicer. I don't need a reply, but I left my information in case anything needs looked up to see who helped me. Thank you. And so just being able to respond back to customers like this just takes your customer service to the next level. So after that feedback is given, again, this is where in the bottom right-hand corner of your dashboard is where the customer satisfaction lies. So the top gauge is an overall combination of the 3 lower gauges. So when you're on your homepage, number one, if you don't see these gauges at all, it's because you've never sent an email. As soon as you send out the feedback email and get your first one back, those graphs will automatically start populating. Then once they are populating, when you hover over, since this is just a picture, it's not going to pull up for me, but you would hover over your staff. It would give you the staff score. Hover over your vehicles. It'll give you the vehicle score. And hover over the system, and it will give you the system score. Then this big gauge is all of that wrapped up together. And so obviously you want to make sure that you're in the green and that things are good. Any questions that anybody has on the feedback? I'll wait just a little bit here to see if anybody puts anything in the chat. And then I have a question for all of you. So those of you that are here and participating, again, thank you for doing so because it's important to learn and grow. So in the chat, will you please let everyone know, are you using the current feedback tool or not? And if so or not, why? I'm going to give you just a couple minutes here, give you a quick minute so people can fill it in. And I know you're out there because I can see you. And you don't have to put your name if you don't want to for this one. And several of you gave me thumbs up today, so I know you can do it. It's pretty easy. Just remember the chat. There you go. Yes, I can repeat the question. Do you currently use the feedback tool for your fleet? Why or why not? Greg, awesome. So you're doing it twice a year and you reply to everyone who submits a comment and includes their email address. Isn't that amazing? And I bet they are happy and amazed when you return a message to them. Karen, not yet. We will when we get some time to do it. Understandable. And like I said, Karen, too, it happens in just seconds, so it's pretty easy. So hopefully you'll feel more comfortable with it after today. Yes, we do, but periodically to gauge pulse of user satisfaction. Awesome. And it's good. So when you're doing it periodically or sporadically, that's great. If you continue to do it though on a regular basis, that's when you'll start to see trends. So great example obviously was during COVID. Our scores of our vehicles just started going down, 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 down. at a couple of years after COVID. Well, why is that? Because nobody could get new vehicles, right? So then with all that feedback that we were getting, I sent out an email to everyone explaining that situation. And then those comments quit because then they understood. So Madison don't currently, but are hoping to start soon. And not the feedback tool, but the comments after every reservation. Definitely want to now. Awesome. Thank you all for participating. And if you have any questions, those of you that want to start and you need a little extra boost, just let us know and we'll help you do that. And if those of you who are already doing it need any additional help, just let us know. All right. So any final questions on that one? If not, we're going to move on to the FleetCommander Detailed Billing Report. Awesome. Okay. So on the FleetCommander Detailed Billing Report, some people think of it, oh, it's a billing report. That's all it is. Well, this report actually has a lot of powerful information in it. So I want to be able to show you some of that information. Now I have, as you can see with the white blocks, I have blocked out some information so you can't tell exactly what customer site this is or anything like that. I needed some data to show you. But I want to give you some ideas and reasons as to why you might use this report, right? So to get to the detailed billing report, you're going to go to navigation and you're going to go to reports, reservations, and detailed billing report. Now, if you do not bill, you're not going to see any dollar amounts, but you should be seeing some other information, okay? So when this report comes out, you can put it into HTML or you can put it into Excel. I tend to like to put it into Excel because then I can hide columns that I want, I can sort and so forth. So I just find that it's a little bit easier for me to find different things that I want. I'm going to kind of take you now through all the different columns and then we're going to go kind of like, why might you use this report, right? So first one is the actual, the date. Then you have your confirmation number, the status, the department if you use it, an account number if you use it, destination, business purpose. Now again, if you don't use these particular fields, some of these fields are not going to show, okay? Or they're going to be blank, but that's okay. And then these happen to be different. This is an accounting type system. This is a workday system. So there's work tags, subtypes, department percentage, and so forth in this particular case. Then we're going to go on because, like I said, the report is a long report and has a lot of details, right? So sometimes people get frustrated that these reports are so long and that there's so many, rows and columns. However, if you think about it, the good news is it gives you a lot of data and there really is a lot at your fingertips. You just need to know how to find it or where to find it. So that's what we're going to try and help with today. So if we continue on, you have a requester, driver, vehicle name, vehicle type, usage type, actual start and end, date and time, the number of occupants in the vehicles, the duration in hours for the reservation, the duration in days, the starting mileage, the ending mileage, the total mileage for the trip, the vehicle usage fee, the mileage fee, the parking permit fee. Now again, some of these fees in here, like parking permit, cleanup fee, late return fee, those are going to be different based on your fleet. And you can be adding those. If you don't have it now, that's something you can add and it will still work. So we can help you with that. Late return fee, and then the daily, vehicle use, a driver fee, if there's any credits that you need to give the customer. So maybe you want to give the customer a credit because the vehicle was dirty. It would show on here. Maybe the customer didn't refuel the vehicle. So you might want to charge them a refueling fee. Maybe they didn't cancel in a timely manner. So there would be a late cancel fee. Oops, excuse me. Then there's any other miscellaneous fees. This customer also has an insurance fee, an insurance deductible, and then it has the posted amount that's already posted to the transaction, the unposted amount because billing hasn't run yet for that month, and the total cost. So, number one, you might be thinking, can something have a posted and unposted amount? A reservation could have a posted and unposted amount. So say you had a reservation for someone and they went on a long trip, they came back, and then you received a bill for some tolls a couple weeks later. If billing has already ran for that reservation, you can still go add those toll charges to that reservation, and then just the toll charges will bill on the next monthly billing cycle. So it can be different, these two numbers. And then the total cost, okay? So with this, like I said, there's a lot of information and it's called a billing report. So you got all that information and really it comes down to what? The total cost? Well, not really, because there's a lot of things you can learn from this report, right? So with that, at the very bottom of the report, you will see totals of things and you will see averages of things, okay? So for example, this total, the 1647, is the total number of passengers you had in your vehicles at that time frame. That might be a question you get. You might get a question from administration of how many people are traveling in your vehicles. There's different mileages, how many mileage on a trip. So in this time frame, all these vehicles that were in this report went 14,475 miles, which was an average of 31.74, right? You have the average bill and so forth as well. So again, the report not only provides that billing information, but it can give you average of miles, it can give you occupants, it can give you different charge types. So another example, we had here employee driver. Maybe you need a recap of how many driver fees that you have had during a certain time frame. So you can just run a report on that time frame and stuff. And you can look for just that column and have the added information or do a sort and know how many trips there were and so forth, that you're actually having drivers have to go, your drivers have to go drive the other people like airport runs and so forth. So there's a lot of different stuff that you can get from this report. So just saying that it's a billing report is really a little bit skewed because there's so much more that you can get. And I know, I mean, I know from experience that I've been asked by administrators before, you know, what's the average number of hours in a trip or what's the average duration of a trip and stuff. I don't know. How would I start that? Well, there's plenty of ways to start it in FleetCommander and find that information. You just need to know where to go. So that's where Todd and I are here to help. Any questions on that one? Do any of you currently bill through Agile FleetCommander? Go ahead and put your answer in. I'll type the question too. Currently bill your clients back for vehicle rental. Sorry, it should have been a question mark instead of a period. It's pretty simple, yes or no question. It's a great report. We bill via university means, but I use this report weekly, and Kathy's right. It's a great tool. Thank you. Can I tell my husband that you said Kathy's right? Just kidding. I tell him he's right a lot. Thank you for that. Greg from TVA. Although I do use the billing tool, I then take the report and modify and add to it before having it uploaded to our company's financial system. Awesome. Yes, and a lot of people do that. So a lot of people upload it to the financial system, or also a lot of people use a custom billing algorithm as well. And somebody does not have to bill their clients, so they're very fortunate. That's awesome. All right. Thank you again for those of you who responded. I appreciate it. I just think it helps others, right? So it's not just what I do, it's what all of you do. And together, you learning from each other, I think, is the important part. Okay, so this is one that I don't know that people necessarily know much about, and they're very, very similar. So prep and inspection plans. So first, I'm going to go over how to create a prep plan. And this information is also on FC Drive. So the new knowledge database that was put out by our FC support team. So to create a prep plan, you're going to go to Configure, Vehicles, Prep Plans, and click Add New. Then you're going to provide a name for your prep plan. So what exactly is a prep plan? So a prep plan is when a vehicle comes back from a reservation and is dispatched in. You can set up a prep plan and/or inspection plan on a set time frame to then have it go to a report for somebody to review and for somebody to look at the vehicle. For example, we used prep at the fleet I was at because we had students cleaning the cars after every reservation. So when those vehicles came back, there's a whole parking lot of vehicles, right? We needed to know which vehicles needed cleaned, and of those vehicles, which ones are going out first, so we know kind of an order as to what vehicles we should look at. And then we also need to know, what does a prep plan consist of? So it was such things as, vacuuming the vehicle out, checking the fluid levels, making sure that the vehicle is clean on the outside, checking the lights and turn signals, checking to see if any engine lights are on, or any like oil lights saying time for an oil change or anything. So if there's any mechanical issues. So it basically puts the schedule together for you. And this prep plan, you can choose many different options as far as how many times and when that vehicle is going to go into prep based upon what you put in. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So on this one, they added a new prep plan name called Daily Rental. They checked it as a default prep plan, and it's active. Sort order. So sort order, what that means, if you don't know what that means, is that's in a lot of the fields. And sort order is what order these different items are going to come up when searched. So oftentimes we go by like 10, 20, 30, 40, because then if you need to add a step in between 20 and 30, you have 21, 22, 23 that you can do that. So that's why you oftentimes will see a 50, 60, whatever. So then we're going to do the prep steps. So what exactly does the prep mean? What are the steps for this? So here on the daily rental, the step name is fuel. So we want to fuel the vehicle. So we're going to add new. So in these, and I apologize, these are blurry, but so verify fuel card, clean the outside, clean the inside, move to the front lot. So these are all the different things that are going into that prep. Then you're going to fill in on the step name, the description and sort order, and then you can activate it. So you're going to repeat this for each step that you want to put into your prep plan. So this one in particular is clean steering wheel. So what does that mean? You're going to spray with sanitizer and wipe off with a paper towel. That's what it means. So everybody's on the same page as to what sanitizing the steering wheel means on your team. So then you need to take the prep plan and you need to put it to a usage type. So to do this, you're going to navigate to your configure and your usage types, and then you're going to click on the pencil for whatever usage type you wish to edit. Once you get there, you want to enable prep by checking the enable prep box. And then the next one you're going to do is this drop down, prep frequency. So how often, when that vehicle is dispatched in, do you want it to go to this prep list for people to look at it to clean the vehicle or prep the vehicle? So your choices are do not prompt because you don't want to use it, prep after every use, so after every reservation, prep after every 30 days, prep after so many uses, you decide what that number is, or prep after so many days and you decide what that number is. And then you should save the changes. Now, the important thing to remember is the plan and the prep need to be enabled for each usage type. So if you have a daily and have a seasonal and have a yearly or a half day, you know, if you want it looked at in between each reservation, you would need to do it for each usage type. You would need to go in and enable prep and put in how frequent. So the prep queue shows on the main dashboard again in the bottom left-hand corner. So it says in prep vehicles. So in this scenario, it says there's 18 vehicles in prep. As you can see, this is light blue, the in prep. So that means it's clickable. So these black ones are not clickable because there's zeros and there's nothing to see. If there's a number there and so forth, it is clickable and it's in light blue. So when you click that in prep vehicles, it then brings up a list of the vehicles that need to be prepped. And if there's a reservation against it, an oncoming reservation, a future reservation, it will tell you what the next reservation is and when that reservation starts, so you can sort and make sure that you are getting the ones that are going out the earliest prepped first. So it's a great way to have a list. What we did was we had this list and we then projected it out to a computer screen into our cleanup bay so the students could see it, everybody could see what needs pulled in next, and so forth. Then when they go to the vehicle, the prep screen, you can get to the prep screen a couple different ways, but underneath the in the dispatch tab, if you go into dispatch, you have the reservation, inspection, prep, and billing tabs. So you go to prep, they'll put the start prep time, and then they'll put the end prep time. And then with that, they will also have the ability to put who it's prepped by and the mileage, where they are parking it. So they might have gotten it out of a certain spot, but they might have to return it to another spot because a customer parked in that spot in the meantime. And so all of this information can be filled in, and then you're getting a good, accurate number and timing and so forth. But it's important to teach your team to all do it the same way. So with using it consistently, you can see, is there a certain person cleaning vehicles that it takes 3 times as long as other people? So that could be either they're doing a very thorough job, or they just aren't working very fast, right? So it could be either way. You know, those that are going really fast might be missing things, or they just might be really efficient. So being able to have these numbers and you can run reports on the prep and how long it took them and so forth is just really good information to help you kind of figure out your labor as well. And, you know, how many reservations do I have? What's the average time it takes to prep the vehicle and so forth? So how many people do I need back there cleaning? And then there's also comment section. So this one's saying got all the trash with the humidity, it may take a little bit longer to dry. So they're just kind of giving a heads up. Whoever the next driver is, you know, it might be a little damp. Vehicle condition, they're saying, oh, there's a dent on the driver door and scratches on the rear bumper. Okay, that might have already been in there. So if so, it stays, and that's good. It stays on the vehicle because we know it's not new damage, right? So again, all kinds of stuff that you can take care of and track, and it's not hard. You know, it's just a drop-down menu. Once they're done with it, they do pass or they do fail. So if it didn't pass prep or inspection, you would fail it, or you can do not performed. So maybe you were super busy, the vehicle came back and you need that vehicle to go out again right away and you have no time to look at it. You can go into it and put not performed. So then when that customer calls in, if it was dirty and the next customer calls in saying it was dirty, you again have a note saying that you can tell the story. You can say, I apologize, it came back and it instantly had to go out to you, so we did not have time to clean it. So there's ways to be able to tell your story, know what the story is, what's going on by logging and creating these things. So how do you do an inspection plan? Inspection plan is the same way. So inspection can be, you know, a couple different, it can be anything really. Like inspection and prep can be very similar. So inspection might be that somebody just inspects the outside of the vehicle for damage, while the prep might be the cleaning. So it's just like another way to make an additional inspection plan if needed. And again, you can make the same steps for it as well. So you would go to configure vehicles, inspection plan, add new plan. It could also be if you have to have an annual inspection on a vehicle, or you need to change license plates, or you need to check once a year to make sure that the registration papers are still in the glove box. So you could do an inspection plan for a lot of different reasons, right? So it's going to come up in similar areas, and you're going to build them in the same way, only you're going to be clicking inspection plans and whatever that plan is and whatever the steps are. And you're going to make sure that you activate it. And then you can then add the inspection plan to the usage type. So you're going to go into the daily rental, and you are going to enable inspection. So you're going to click it right there. So you might add these plans and everything, but if you forget to enable it, then it's not going to come up. And again, these can be done either by do not prompt, and they can manually start one, or inspect after every use, inspect after every 30 days, inspect after the number of uses you choose or the number of days you choose, and click Save Changes. So inspection plans, navigation, navigate to manage an inspection, and again, you'll see the inspection report. When they go into it, same thing. We're logging our date and time. It tells us our steps, what we need to be doing. We're going to pass it. Once we've completed it, we're going to put who's inspected by, going to change any of the, you know, fuel information or parking information or anything like that. Take any notes that you need and so forth, and just, you know, communication. keep everybody involved. So just communicate, 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 and it's another tool to make sure things don't get dropped. So, all right, so to recap, we talked about Command 2024. I guess before that, I should say any questions on the inspection and prep. Sorry. Okay. If you think of any, you can either email us separately or you can write them in the chat. So just to recap today, we talked about the Command 2024. Again, there's just a couple spots left. We would love to have you if you can come. We talked about the feedback report. We talked about the billing report. We talked about inspections and prep. So, you know, how do you get organized and accountable when it comes to inspection and prep? So resources, just know that, you know, we are all here to help you. This is our team that's behind the team that you get to see. I know we had Ron on the call for a little bit today. Here's Ron right here. Todd is not in this picture yet. Anna is though, and Anna runs it. The videos for us. Here's Anna right there. She runs the video for us every workshop Wednesday. So thank you, Anna, and she sends everything out. So she's amazing. Just a reminder, we're working on .NET for a lot of you, and we're working through that. We're working through the queue. Todd and I will be reaching out if we haven't already, or you can also reach out to us and let us know. Just a reminder, there will not be a workshop Wednesday in October because of the user conference. So with that, just a reminder, I just want to let you know that we typically do not have a workshop Wednesday in October. We are, however, going to be having an additional quarterly webinar next Thursday. So it's a little tight on schedule. We apologize for that, but Todd's got some great stuff, and we haven't done a quarterly special presentation yet. So Todd is going to be presenting next week, and Anna will be sending that out shortly. And it is going to be about different educational resources, especially a lot of free resources that you can learn how to do a lot of different things. So Todd was showing me today some of these different sites and so forth that he uses, and it's just amazing. So we're just trying to give you tools for your toolbox to make your job and life easier. So that's what we're trying to do. Just a reminder, YouTube channel. All of our recordings do go onto YouTube, so you can go ahead and sign up for the YouTube channel and be able to see what you missed and go back to it at any time. Let us share your accomplishments. If you have any anniversaries coming up, or if your fleet's been named in the top 100 fleets, or you have a new CAFM, or you have a snow truck driver that won a snow truck competition. I know we have those here in Iowa. They have truck competitions for like the DOT and stuff. Anything you want to share, we can help you write it. We can help you do, you know, slides for presentations. We can help you with different news announcements and stuff. White papers. We'd love to do something on your fleet. Just let us know what we can do to help. And again, contacting support. I know a lot of you are already know this information, but if you ever need support, feel free to fcsupport@agilefleet.com. You can reach Todd or I at our extensions or our emails, or our joint email is cs@agilefleet.com. We are definitely on social media as well, so LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and YouTube. For those of you that are still on the call, I would really, I would love it if you could take a picture here of this QR code on your smartphone and fill out information on how we're doing. So we do need your feedback so we can make sure that we are giving you good topics and so forth, but that we're meeting your needs, right? So we do have goals as well. And part of our goals is to get so many feedback responses back. I know it's never fun to necessarily give feedback, but again, feedback is good. And we talked about that in the beginning of the class today. So just like you want feedback from your customers, we need feedback, Todd and I, from you, our customers and clients as well. So, we certainly hope that we're meeting your needs with a 9 or a 10. And if we're not, we certainly want to know what can we do to get you to that level, because we are here to help you. So if you can fill that out, we would be very appreciative. So thank you. Any additional questions that anybody may have today that they'd like to bring up? All right. Well, it's great to see a lot of you. I appreciate you joining us today, and thank you so much for being part of Workshop Wednesday. And for those that will be coming to Command, we look forward to seeing you in just a couple short weeks. Those of you that can't, we will miss you, but we will be back to Workshop Wednesday in November. And please watch your email for a special extra webinar that will be next week, and that will come out shortly. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you being part of the Agile Fleet family, and have a great day.